Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Backpack Show, where we bring you business success insights from unusual places. Chris had a conflict today. Apparently, he had to give a speech, and those nice people would be disappointed if he didn't show up. So Chris is giving a speech today, but we have an action-packed show today for you. We're going to talk with two people from Televerde about their prison workforce development program and what they're doing to help women inmates turn their lives around. We have Televerde CEO Morag Lucey, and we have recent program graduate Kristin Burns, and they're going to talk with us all about it and all the good work they're doing. And since Chris isn't here to interrupt me, I guess I'll just have to do it myself.
Backpack Show.
Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Chloe's from Scotland, actually, and I know that Televerde has an office in Glasgow. Is it Glasgow?
We do, and I'm Scottish.
Oh,
So.
are you really? This is going to be fun. Old home week for you. Coach Woodard is here. Hello. So, Morag, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Televerde's origin story. Some people have never heard of the company. They don't know what you do, and they certainly haven't heard of the social good aspect of it, where you're working with women in prison. So can you talk about it?
Sure. Thanks for inviting us. So we're really excited to join the show this morning. Televerde started 25 years ago, and it started, the founder was a spiritual leader in Perryville prison in Arizona. And with his work with the women, he identified that there was a lot of unleashed potential in these women. And so he decided that it would be a really good idea to start a program to teach the women how to sell. And so real world skills that are very useful. So 25 years ago, he started in a trailer on one of the prison yards in Perryville. And, 25 years later, we've continued to focus on providing opportunities for incarcerated women to learn skills in still sales. So that could be a learning, LDR, lead development there, an SDR, sales development there, or an inside salesperson. But we've also added a lot of other skills in marketing and in technology. So in today's world of technology, with so much technology out there, many of our ladies, they're using all the best of breed technologies like Salesforce and Marketo and Outreach. And so over those 25 years, we've actually been able to provide 3,500 life-changing opportunities for women when they are in prison to go to work every single day, and then when they get released from prison to actually gain employment in some of the top tech companies in the world. So unleashing that potential is what's really important, and also giving people second chances.
Look who showed up.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Dreadfully sorry I'm a little late. I walked right off the stage at another conference and wandered right into this one. So it's literally the same technology. So I've just hit close, hit open, and here I am. But
magic, and there you are.
Your parents are both here, so it's very good that you turned up.
Thank goodness my biological parents are here. They're important to my life. And
it's only parents.
Also my only parents. I didn't want to miss Morag. I didn't want to miss Kristin. I think this is an important opportunity. And my first professional grown-up people business was at a call center. So I know about average handling time, and I know about all the much more important things. And even my mother, Diane Brogan, she managed for the telephone company a whole bunch of call centers. So it's just an important business that is not going away anytime soon, as much as we think the robot overlords are going to take us over. And I'm so excited that you mix that and the opportunity to give people the opportunity to serve. So I don't have a question in all that. I just want to say nice things to you.
Well, so I want to talk about this because I know, so when people first hear about, a company using a prison workforce, I think their mind goes immediately to exploitation. But the fact is that this program helps women, and the recidivism rate among Televerdi employees is so much lower than the general rate. So can we talk about that? Kind of how I know that the women in the program are selected based on their qualifications. They receive training. They're fairly compensated. and they get jobs upon release. So you're helping people turn things around. I don't want people to view this as like, hey, we've got this incarcerated workforce we benefit from. Kristin, as a program participant and a graduate, you could talk
Yes.
about what it's like actually being part of it.
Absolutely. So, as mentioned, we are definitely paid marketing wages, very, very fair. I think my favorite part of the program is you go to work every day. It's very business, right? You go there, you do what you're supposed to do. I think being a graduate, one of the best parts about Televerdi and participating within the DOC program as well is how they actually have it structured and set up. So kudos not only to Televerdi but to DOC, because how everything works out, we actually leave with a savings account, which allows us to come out and get apartments and cars and all of those things. So I'm very thankful for what I was able to do with Televerdi over my 4 years incarcerated and what I was able to leave with, so I was not such a burden to my family and friends.
Wow.
I want to ask a question on that one, Kristin. So
Absolutely.
there's so much emotion tied to that as well. You know what I mean? You made it like a really fun business transaction, but you're going through, you did all the stuff you did. You did your time. You did all the work. There's all kinds of, programs you have to go through that aren't this program to get to where you're going. And then there's that just, you get free shame no matter what, because, people are going to want to apply their judgment on you, even though you already went through judgment. The system already handled you. You're out. You can go be anything you want, except you can't.
Yeah.
But when you have this leg up, when you have the opportunity to do this, can you talk a little bit about what that does for your self-esteem, what it does for your abilities to kind of say, I'm in this again?
Absolutely. So, it's a little frustrating, right? So when you get out and you're looking for apartments or you're trying to get cars or whatever you're trying to do, you absolutely still have a felony, right? But I think as far as the confidence part, Televerdi has really taught me how to have conversations and how to put myself out there and how to communicate with people, to where they teach you skills on how you can apply things in your everyday life. And I think that's really where you get your leg up. So for instance, when you apply for an apartment, even with a felony, you're able to go in and have a conversation with that person and explain what happened and what you've done since the date that you were incarcerated to change your life. So I think, well, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not hard, right? Because I am a felon and that is on my record. But having the communication skills and having a job upon release and having a savings account upon release, those things are definitely a leg up. And I think those things speak directly to our recidivism rate and why a lot of us don't go back, because we have the skills, we have an income, and we have communication skills, and we have empathy, and we have all those things that Televerdi teaches us through their training program.
How did you, if I can ask this, how did you end up in prison? And I don't think anybody's worst mistake should define their entire life. So how was it that you learned about the Televerde program, the opportunity, and what did you do to pursue it? Hi, Michael. So when you were incarcerated, how did you learn about the program and what did you do to apply for it? Jeez.
I think she's frozen.
Oh, well, Morag, maybe while
I can
Kristin
answer that
refreshes,
question.
you could tell us, yes, because I know there is obviously a qualification process. Okay.
Yeah, so let me back up a little. Televerdi is really, it's a holistic program. And so, it started with that idea of, don't leave human potential behind. Everybody is valuable. And so look for the good in everybody. And one of the things that Televerdi has done, which many other companies that work within the same type of workforce don't do as well, is you create an opportunity for absolute learning. So as you know, to train somebody to be a marketing expert, well, that takes a lot of, you have to teach them business acumen, you have to teach them what is marketing, what are all the different facets of marketing, and then where is their propensity in that sort of, are they a writer, are they a strategist, do they like design? So you have to teach all the skills there. And so, the Televerdi itself is teaching those skills and then working with companies out in the world to apply those skills. But we also have a foundation, the Televerdi Foundation, which creates a opportunity to help our ladies gain the other skills they need, the life skills. And so that's incredibly important. So the life skills are, everything from, understanding how to do a budget. Because if you're incarcerated, you're not doing budgets. You're not working out, okay, I've got to pay the rent, I've got to pay the car payment, I've got to pay for groceries, and how much money am I going to have left at the end of the day? So we're teaching them all the life skills that you're going to need while they're incarcerated. And then as they come close to release, we go through interview skills, resume writing, dress for success, all the other things that you need to do to make sure that you're going to get a job, because we can't hire everybody that's being released, unfortunately. But we do work with our clients, and a lot of our clients will hire our ladies. And then once released, we have a mentoring program, because that's the hardest time, is leaving that environment and now re-entering society. And so you have to have the safety net. And so we provide that safety net. And so mentoring program, we help find housing, find cars, get your families reunited, etc., so that it's really, it's not just work for us while you're incarcerated and then, oh, thanks, we're off, next one. It's like, it is, we stay with our ladies, through forever, and they are a community that stay connected.
Kate says she's making an assumption that a lot of folks are incarcerated due to alcohol or other drug addiction. I mean, I'm sure there's a fair share, Kate, but there's lots of things that land people in prison.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes people make in life.
So we're working on getting Kristin back with us, but go ahead, Chris.
Well, I just had a thought about that, because one of the sorry, I might have sounded like I've keynoted for an entire hour.
Right before this.
Kristin's back. Good. My question was going to be that related to Kate's about the chemical and whatnot. One of the things that prison doesn't do well at all is really create systems for coping that seem especially tightly connected. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard to say that they're doing enough to shore up people's mental challenges, all of the underlying things that bring a chemical addiction to bear, all those kinds of things. So a lot of people maybe are in there due to those addictions. It's not that I would say that a lot of people can argue that incarceration is bad. I would say that at least the challenge is that it certainly doesn't give right sets of skills. Morag, what you said about kind of you can't hire everyone, does that mean that there's even future opportunity, perhaps a book or something, Morag, about how maybe other people and entities could do more to integrate people in that way? Yeah,
and we actually work with, we have many customers who, you have heard of, SAP, Adobe, GE, Epsom. We work with a lot of big companies, and they are working with our ladies, and basically many of them will hire on the lease as well. And so we really believe in career pathing. So how do we create the skills? And if you really think about this from last year, forget the pandemic year, this is a year like none other. But last year we were in a world where we had a huge lack of knowledge workers. You couldn't find enough marketing people, sales people, tech people. And so there's a whole unleashed or untapped population of smart people that are incarcerated. And you really think about it, if you go down that sort of, yes, there are lots of people that are incarcerated for drugs. But if you think about sort of years ago, there was the war on drugs. There was the 3 strikes and you're out. And now, we've legalized cannabis in many states, but we still have people incarcerated who wouldn't be incarcerated today for that situation. And so it's like, you have a lot of smart people, so let's invest in giving them the skills that they need so that they can do good work while they're incarcerated and spend their time wisely. And then when they're released, they can really create opportunity for themselves and change the trajectory of their children's lives, the lives of their family, and turn themselves around. It's like, don't discard. Yes. So I saw somebody say, I have an aunt Morag. It's like, it's not me.
That was
I had a lot
Hugh
of nieces and
McLeod.
nephews. But don't discard human potential. It's, you look for the good in people, not judge people by things of the past.
Kristin, people want to know a bunch of things that they're probably afraid to ask, and it's your job to tell us, don't ask that question, because we don't know the things, so some people want to know, what were you in for? They want to know, what's the before and after of you? And do you get that question always? I mean, is that just if you mention was a felon, does that instantly have to be the next question?
Typically, right? Typically it is. People are naturally curious. Just in the effort of transparency, I had a series of events happen in my life which led me down a path to drug addiction. So I was very heavily addicted to drugs, which essentially caused me to make a bunch of very, very wrong decisions. So I was incarcerated. I did do quite a bit. And throughout that time, I made the decision to change my life, because that was my second incarceration.
Wow.
So that's where Televerdi comes into play. And I applied. I changed my life, and I do everything I can every day to put my best foot forward, wake up on the right side of the bed, and be the person I am today. The person I was, I wasn't a good person. It's not that I was a bad person. It was that I was a drug addict. I had an issue. There are several classes within prison that you can take, right? There's NA, there's AA, there's women in recovery. So there is help there if you seek it, right? Some of those classes are 6 months, some of them are year programs, and then you go to work still at Televerdi. So you have a job, you're programming, you're going to college, and you're just doing everything you can to change while you're in there. So I did a lot of reflecting. I'm a great person today. I'm very happy with myself. I wake up, I do what I'm supposed to. I go to bed fulfilled. So, and I think that's all that I can do at this point.
Kristin, Jeremy had a question as a fellow former prisoner, wanted to know, what question do you wish people would ask you?
I just wish, that's a really good question, Jeremy. Instead of saying like, well, what were you in for? Or how much time did you do? Maybe they could ask, well, how are you today? How did it change your life? Why are you on the trajectory you're on now? Because it looks like you're doing amazing, right? So maybe how and why you got where you are today, versus focusing so much on, the negative part. Like, hey, why did you do that? Or why were you in? How much time did you do? Because I feel like people glorify those things when they shouldn't be glorified.
Interesting, really, that there's just so much to dig into, and what I love is just that there's an arc, right? There's an arc of all the things that you did to get where you got to Kristin, but then there's Morag saying, I don't see why we can't make these people serve incredible companies and do really good stuff. And now Kristin's a sales representative saying, you got to understand why this is cool. Like, you got to understand why these people are going to work harder than other people who came off the street. Again, I was a call center guy. I managed a call center full of people who wish they were anywhere but in that room. And I'll tell you this, you're going to hate this story, but you're going to get this story. I had my boss, Dave Johnson. I was young. I was like 19 and I was a boss. And so I'm in a room full of people who a lot of them are older than me and stuff. I was the kid. I might've been a little older than 19. I was maybe 20 something, but this girl, Kelly, that's her real first name, was having a day. She was just off the rails. She had to get off the phone. She had to go run out in the hallway and she is just like fuming and angry and whatever and all this sort of stuff. And call handling time is life and death in this entity, and we measure it to the human being. This person off my floor is causing the company money, and that's another whole thing. But Kelly Kelly is like sitting there and she's like teary and she's grumpy, she's whatever. Thanks, Kerry, I saw that. My boss says to her, you know what? There's no bars on these walls. There's no bars on the doors. You can walk right now. It is a union job. We will hire another person and they will gladly take the job. You can go do anything you want. There's so many other jobs that might be better suited for you. There's no bars. For you, there were bars for a while. And for you didn't get that choice. But one thing that you might be able to identify with, and I want your thought on it, is the sense of gratitude you get to feel compared to the people who feel like, they couldn't stand being at a call center. Like it was below them.
Yeah. Well, a call center's changed my life, right? I think a lot of people do feel that way about call centers, but I think that part speaks directly to the culture of Televerdi. It's just an amazing place to be. You can tap your neighbor. They're more than willing to help you out. I just can't say enough, honestly, about it, because it's giving me self-confidence, self-worth, communication skills, things that I apply to my everyday life. And I just did 10 years and now I'm out here living my life and I'm successful. And I go to work every day. I go to sleep every night. I have responsibilities. I'm accountable. People trust me. So that call center saved my life, is what I'll tell you.
So I want to address that because we may have engagement centers in these incarcerated facilities, but we also don't make them come to work. And
Absolutely.
So we have exactly the same, if it's too much, if you don't want to do it, there's other opportunities, not like ours. There's not the business opportunity, but there are other opportunities that are less stressful. The work we do is stressful. I mean,
it is.
Customers are relying on our employees to really deliver excellent service, and they deliver the most excellent service because when they want to be there, which they're choosing to be there, they chose to go through what they would classify as some of the hardest things that they had to do, training boot camp. The number of times, and Kristin, you can talk to this, but the number of times I've heard, oh, I didn't think I was going to make it. I was going to leave. I was in tears. It's like, it's training. You're thinking that they're tough and they've got that sort of gumption in them, but they haven't had the business stress or the belief that you can really do something. We have so much confidence in you. You can learn this and you can actually then apply this, and this will then change your life. And I think that sort of, that's fascinating to see that.
That's the beauty of being Televerdi too, because I worked for a big evil capitalist utility, so we didn't care. Like your mental health comes about fifth in line. We'd like.
And actually, we were born in purpose.
There you go.
We were, as a company, we are for profit, so I don't want anyone to,
no question.
But our whole purpose is to, in the next decade, provide 10,000 life-changing opportunities for disempowered people. Yep. And so we are a for-profit. We're in the tech industry. We're driving sales and marketing, and our goal is to continue to provide people who have been left behind opportunities. And I can tell you, Kristin is incredibly smart and was amazing. When she was incarcerated as a project coordinator, managing some of these very large accounts for us, she did a fabulous job. And it is amazing what people can do when you put trust in them and you teach them.
Yep. Perfect. We'll talk more to Morag Lucey and Kristin Burns in just a minute. We have to do a little bit of sponsor love. Everybody's sick put. I know Morag has to get out of here too. We're sponsored by.
We're sorry.
I'm here now. We're sponsored by StreamYard. cbrogan.me/StreamYard. Thank you for running the show today, Kerry. cbrogan.me/StreamYard. It lets you make your
running
own
it
show.
every day.
I think Jeremy Wright could make his own show.
So StreamYard is really easy to use. And I would like to point out, because you weren't here to witness it, that Morag and Kristin were here like fully 15 minutes early, totally ready.
My favorite kind.
We were like, she went and made more tea. Like we were ready to go. So it's that easy. StreamYard.
That's it. That's all I'm not saying anymore. Get some. We're also sponsored by PubSite. I hinted that maybe Morag or maybe Kristin needs to write a book. Authors, if you get done writing your book, that was the hard part, but now you got to go market it, which is the sloggy part. You can go.
I think Kristin could do it. That she's got sales and marketing down.
I haven't heard a thing that Kristin can't do just yet. So I think there's a lot.
Well, maybe build a website. That's the hard part for most.
Maybe
authors.
That's hard. So look at that. You can go get one built super fast, easy. Go to pub-site.com. You could build it yourself in an afternoon if you had nothing better to do, or you could have somebody else help you if you don't want to do it. Kerry, this is super expensive, though. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up.
It is not. There's a 14-day free trial, and after that, it's just $19.99 a month to build and have your own website. And if you don't want to build it yourself, they'll build it for you for $499, which I don't know if you shopped around to get somebody to build you a website, but that is crazy inexpensive. So check it out. It's super easy to use, pub-site.com. If you're an author, you've got a book you need to promote, you've got to have a website. People are expecting it. They need a place to find their information about you. So go and get a website.
Pub-site.com. Also, sponsors of Person of the Day.
Yay! I love Person of the Day.
They're my favorite persons of the day. All right.
People are like, stay put.
We're going to bring back Morag, and we're going to bring back
So
Kristin.
Carol's making an important point. It's both for-profit and driven by cause, an example for other for-profit companies. Now listen, companies need to turn a buck, and they do. But how they do it can either have a negative effect on the world or a positive effect on the world, or they could be neutral. So I love that Televerde is finding a way to give people second chances that they desperately need. So they're making the world a better place while they turn a buck, and that's fine with me.
Boy, I love profit, but I love doing it when I do it in a way that makes good things happen for important people.
Me too.
All right, I'm pushing buttons that I push. That's my button. That's also my button.
Fine
There
then.
we go. Welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
Now, Kristin, we had a question come in from Coach Woodard. He's asking what you see yourself doing in the next 10 years.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I've actually thought about this. So, as Morag mentioned earlier, I was a project coordinator when I was incarcerated, and project management is really kind of my jam. So over the next 10 years, what I plan to do is get back into college, continue with my education, of course, and then I would like to go through the Project Management Institute and get my CAPM as well as my PMP, and be certified within project management.
I'm guessing those are good things. I don't know what they stand for.
Oh,
Yeah,
I sure do.
I don't.
Yeah, they're just certifications for project management. The first one is kind of your entry level. The PMP, the project management professional, is the next one that follows. So having those certifications and just getting into business and managing projects is the space that I want to be in, and I can definitely see myself doing that for sure over the next 10 years.
I want to give you a little bit of unsolicited advice that you didn't ask for, so you have to realize that
That's what unsolicited means.
I know, but listen, this is absolutely free advice. You don't have to pay, and also you can throw it right in the trash. So I did project management before I did this shenanigans and ran off and joined the circus. But I was doing project management for a wireless telecom, because after I left Ma Bell, where I ran data centers, I worked at a wireless company that did prepaid services. So a lot of people, have prepaid cell phones, that kind of thing. Project management, my PMP brethren were wonderful, but they also were like super rule bound. Like they were super like, have to do it the way I learned in the PMBOK and all this stuff. I'm just saying words that no one but Kristin and I know right now. But what happened was, the challenge was that they didn't use any of their street smarts. They didn't use any of the sense of, this is the way we're supposed to do it, but this is the way it's probably going to get done. And all I'm going to say to you is, before you go and get both of those certifications, hold some little part in your belly that says, if this doesn't sound right, it probably isn't right. And I'm going to do it my way. And I'm just going to dress it up in the clothes of PMP. There you go. That's my free advice.
I'll take that advice, because reading that PMBOK is difficult at times because it's pretty bland. So I will definitely take that.
So
Thank you.
if you wicked love going to sleep, you can read that baby anytime you want. Right by the pillow.
Morag, I have a question. I understand the program is expanding into Florida and also into the United Kingdom.
Yeah, so we actually, the program started in Arizona. And so we have 5 engagement centers in Perryville, in the women's prison here in Arizona. We expanded into Indiana 5 years ago into 2 prisons. And we're actually continuing to expand in Indiana. We actually would have opened this quarter in Florida, Homestead, except a pandemic hit, which sort of really turned the world upside down. And we would have opened in HMP style in Macclesfield in England. And we're continuing to look for other prisons, usually state prisons, that really have a focus on rehabilitation. And we work in partnership with the Department of Corrections and with the correctional industries to bring this type of programming to their facility. And many of the states in the UK, they love the idea of actually having a program like this that creates real opportunities for women to gain skills that when they leave prison, they can earn, money that can really, you can buy a house, you can buy a car, you can, in this world of sort of sales, marketing, and tech, you can earn a really decent salary so that it is life-changing, as opposed to, some of the sort of lower paid opportunities that many incarcerated people, would have gone back into.
Kristin, I know that you were part of the TEDx Perryville correctional event. I wonder if you
I
could
was.
tell us about that. So women, I think, was it half the speakers were incarcerated at the time and the other half weren't? And they were
I wouldn't give it that number. I can definitely say that it was the first ever held TEDx correctional. There was, I would say there was a pretty fair number of each, so both incarcerated and not incarcerated people. Very well put together. We had a number of clients there. It was a great experience.
great. So I wonder, is there going to be any more of those, Morag? Any ideas for the
Yeah,
future?
we'd actually, we had been planning for this year a number of different events, and TEDx, another TEDx, we were going to do one in Indiana, was definitely on the agenda.
And
The
then
world has
pandemic.
changed, but
Yeah.
we will be having a virtual, event, which our head of communications, Kerry, is working on at this moment, bringing together some, business leaders, chief executive officers, some large companies, chief marketing officers, and really talking about sort of, this type of programming and, the necessity to find, really good talent wherever you can find it and then nurture it.
I watched some of the presentations from the event and I just loved getting, well, like what you're talking about, Kristin, how people don't frequently have the context. They just put you in a box as a felon and make a lot of assumptions about you. So you get to see the person kind of more holistically. And I think that's so important. How everybody's
Absolutely.
saying, hey, thanks. Oh, Michelle wants to give everybody a hug. Debbie at Women's Leadership Live says, this has been incredible. She's going to share it on social. Kate thinks it's cool. You're expanding into Florida. Oh, and Women's Leadership Live says, if you ever need help here in the States and Texas, we would love to see how we can promote and support.
We will be reaching out.
Yay.
Perfect. I have to share something. Morag and I have been having a little private side conversation, and I have to fess up to it. I guess Morag has also had the pleasure and opportunity to work with truly my top 2 favorite bosses in the world, David Johnson.
You're your own boss.
I'm trying to decide if it's the same one. The minute you mentioned Marbell, then it's like it has to be, because Dave Johnson, he started Marbell, went to Lucent, went to Avaya. I went to Avaya. I worked for him at Avaya, and I can only, it could be there's multiple Dave Johnsons, but
can't be.
I think, Chris, we may have to take this conversation and
I'll have to
circle
come
back
offline.
down
I
and
think
find
so.
Dave, because I know where he is.
Oh, but well, that says something too. Dave filled me full of all kinds of things that I still say to this day. He would wander around the hallways and say, "It's a sad day when you don't learn something," and he had all these like little Dave-isms. He also was the waffle king. He loved to make waffles, and you really can't say a lot of bad things about a guy who makes waffles. When asked what he was going to do when he finally really retired, he just kept saying, "I think I'm going to buy one of those popcorn stands and go park it at events and just sell people popcorn." I think, how bad could life be if you're the one selling popcorn to people? It's not a bad life. So,
Kristin, something to think about.
You can't sell popcorn. But
Absolutely.
Some aspirations for us.
aspirational. It'll be virtual popcorn.
Forget that. I would be eating all my own supply.
all the tech people that I've ever known in the world, when they secretly dream about what they want to do, they want like a wicked normal, like wood chopper kind of a job. They want some job where something tangible happens. There's a pile here and then the pile's over there. That's all I can say about that.
My first job was in a bakery.
I power wash in my spare time. I love power washing. Instant gratification.
Totally. My first job was in a bakery, so I get it, like completely get it. I worked for two people, husband and wife, that owned a bakery, and they were brilliant. And like, this is what they wanted to do. So they worked a few months of the year at their bakery for the summer, and then they would travel the world. That's what they did. They baked bread, made donuts, and they traveled.
So I didn't think I was going to bring this up today, but I have to click this really quick, which is, because I'm just taking the whole thing off you wish I stayed where I stayed and I didn't come here. But Morag was talking about power washing. There's a subreddit called Power Washing Porn. And you basically just go watch people clean off concrete and stuff like that.
That's me. I do that.
Jeez, Louise.
And you get so excited. It's like watching someone eat Oreo cookies or something. You just get so excited. I just earned my yellow card. Sorry. Okay.
I'm so glad you could join us today.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. Jeremy's dream job is for a food truck. So I see it. So now look, we're at two things. We got to do the person of the day. Super important to do person of the day. This person is entitled to 1 apple, but I'll explain that in a minute. Let's see. Let's look through. Who's person of the day? Have we given it to Coach yet? I don't know if we did.
We should if we haven't.
There you go. Coach Woodard, you are person of the day, buddy. Because I liked your question of Kristin and what are we doing for the next 10 years? So Coach Woodard, you are entitled to an apple just like that when you see on screen. You just got to run out and buy it and clean it off, wash it, as Kerry likes to point out.
Well, especially now. It's like, not enough soap. Wash it good. Coach
soap.
Woodard makes sure that we always get to the origin story of the guests we bring on the Backpack Show. So for that alone, he should be person of the day.
That is absolutely true. So now we come to the most important question of the show, which is only important because we ask every single guest this question, which is what goes in your backpack? Now, we're all working sort of from shifting sands. We're in the apocalypse. Everything's a little weird right now. We basically have the opportunity to put something either physical or metaphorical in it that's going to get people through the next 5 years. And so it could be something like hope or determination or, self-esteem. It could be something physical.
Like a donut.
Like a donut, I guess, if you want that sort of thing. So let's just ask that question. That's not an avocado. Let's do Kristin first. Kristin, what goes in the backpack?
Yeah, so I would have a gigantic bottle of Mountain Dew. And the reason I would have that is it has a citrusy flavor, but I taste like a broad range of fruit. So it has a lot of combinations to me for some reason. And I really look at Mountain Dew as analogous to my life today, as I have a growing combination of hard and soft skills needed to succeed in business and a future of infinite possibilities, essentially, right? So why I chose sales and marketing role, it's just one area in the business that I find challenges me most, and I can really go in any direction, and it feels exhilarating. So I pack Mountain Dew. It keeps me fresh, and it reminds me that my life is now one of limitless possibilities.
Just straight up Mountain Dew, right? We're not talking those other flavors that don't exist, right?
Straight up Mountain Dew.
Okay. Not into any of those other flavors. That's
Nope.
bad, and those people are bad. All right.
I know.
Morag Lucey, what goes in your backpack?
Oh, in my backpack, in fact, really in my backpack is usually a little camp stove and water and tea, because mine will always be tea. And, in England, doesn't matter what's happening in life, you have the worst day, it's like, I'll make you a cup of tea. And so, tea for me is, not only do I drink it continuously all day long, and everybody that Televerdi knows I drink tea, so I may have a Starbucks cup, but it's got tea in it. But it also is, it's the time to reflect. So when you have a cup of tea, you can reflect on the good, you can reflect on the bad, but you can also reflect on the way forward. And so, that to me is important. So when I go mountain biking or hiking, I like to take my stove and my, little water and my tea bags, and, find a spot along the way to sit down and reflect on, what's going on in life.
So not even fancy tea. We're just talking bog standard here. Nothing.
No, I'm talking Earl Grey tea.
Earl Grey, of course. That's our friend Patrick Stewart's favorite.
That's my favorite.
Hot, yes, tea Earl Grey, hot.
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 I need a replicator.
I feel like
that's one of those technology bits I was really hoping we'd have by now.
Did not get it. I was told there would be jetpacks.
Yeah.
Hoverboards. We got hoverboards, but not replicators.
Mountain Dew and tea. And I can tell you that I added yesterday's guest's simple syrup into my coffee this morning. Don't do that.
Oh, which one?
No.
So there were two. One tastes like wedding rice. I forget what it's called. And
that's
the other
wedding rice one.
Oh, you put that? No.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Why not the other one? The other one was sweet potato simple syrup.
Because that would have been the obvious choice. And one thing my grandmother has always told me about the obvious choice